my next question is how much typically does an inspection cost on maybe a house versus what if we just have like a condo together?
Yeah, great question. That varies greatly depending on the state you're in, the town you're in. Here where I am, I would say the average cost of a home inspection is
Okay, Adam, so I'm possibly going through a divorce. Should I get an inspection on my house?
Yes, I would say absolutely. You do want to get an inspection on the house. You want to know what's going on in the home. If you're going to be hopefully staying in the home, buying your exiting spouse out, you do want to know any issues that are going on with the house so you can negotiate those issues with the exiting spouse. You know, you get used to living in your home and used to all the noises and things like that. Mm-hmm. But if that is in fact an issue, we were going to take care of that down the road. Now it's just you living in the house. So it's going to be on you to spend the money to do that. So you want to be able to negotiate those terms prior to signing that divorce settlement agreement. Mm-hmm. If you're moving out of the home, I still would recommend doing an inspection so you can know what to expect from any new potential buyer when they have a home inspection on the home. So you can either A, fix those problems ahead of time so it doesn't come up, or B, you can price the home accordingly, knowing that these issues are going to be present when the home inspection happens for the buyer.
Mm-hmm. And when, or I guess my next question is how much typically does an inspection cost on maybe a house versus what if we just have like a condo together?
Yeah, great question. That varies greatly depending on the state you're in, the town you're in. Here where I am, I would say the average cost of a home inspection is probably somewhere between $500 to $800, depending on the size of the property and the services that the inspector is providing. Most home inspectors are going to do a standard home inspection, check the lights, check the systems, check for a basic pest inspection. If you want to do a radon test, that's going to cost extra. There are other types of tests that the home inspector can do that might cost extra. So you'll want to make sure that you talk to your home inspector, or when you're calling around to hire a home inspector, you'll want to make sure you ask them what it's going to cost and what services they provide.
Got it. Yeah. Do you need, I guess for the inspections, do I need the basic or should I go with the basic package or the deluxe? Like what, or?
Yeah. Well, part of it too depends on the type of property. If you live in an apartment in a big building, the inspection is really just going to be more the actual unit itself. You're not necessarily going to be able to get up to the roof or see the systems, because that's not part of the unit per se. It's part of the larger structure. Obviously, if you live in a single family home, or if you live in a smaller unit association, then it's going to be more comprehensive and thus probably a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. So for getting an inspection, like before we're selling, so let's say in this situation, one of the spouses is going to be keeping the house. Like at what point do we get the inspection? Is it, at what point should we get the inspection if one of the spouses is going to be staying in the house?
I think once it's determined that the spouse is going to be staying in, and they know that they can afford to do so, at that point, you'll want to have a home inspection done. So that spouse will need to pay for the home inspection. And then at that point, that's when it'll be done, because then there's going to have to be some negotiating again between the two spouses or the two attorneys on any issues that come up.
That's a good point. Like at the point they know that they can afford the house.
Yes.
Because if, they decide they want to keep the house, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to keep the house if they can't afford it.
Absolutely. A lot of times people are under the impression that they've been living there, that they can just afford it on their own, which is unfortunately not the case. And you do need to speak to a loan officer. That's the first piece. You're going to need to speak to a loan officer after you've gotten the house appraised, done a CMA, to say, okay, it's going to cost me X amount to buy my spouse out. Can I afford it? And then you're going to have to work with your loan officer. And just like the realtor who you're hopefully working with is well-versed in divorce, you also want to make sure you're working with a loan officer that also is well-versed in divorce and has done that with several clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so good. Cool. And that answers, I think, all my questions I have for you.
All right.
Thanks.
Hey guys, if you're liking this content and are eager to hear more, I would encourage you to keep on watching. Click on the button to subscribe, and you will be the first to get new, fresh content as soon as I put it on the internet.